What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Team Chat Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jerrett Wilson, joined to my right by Rachel Mogan.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno to you as well. How are you this fine day?
I'm doing all right. I do realize now that, like, when you mentioned earlier that I would still be on the right side with this new setup, I was like, is he sure?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh,
still on the
I'm
right.
still to the right.
Here. We just changed rotation in the room.
Yeah, because we rotated differently. I'm like, no, I don't think that's right.
Yeah, no, if you're watching us on video, you may notice we have a new setup. Well, just trying something new, you know? And so we're trying out this new little setup, one that didn't take up so much space. I've had the podcast setup has always been just an extra thing in our room. And as Sam and I, move and live in this house more and more, we need more space. And sometimes you just gotta try new things. And this really, I honestly think this works better. I like,
too.
I don't know if anyone else was fans of the old setup where we were sitting in the corner, but I did not like that look at all.
I liked the table, like when we still had the tall table.
The table was
good. It
good.
took up so much space.
It did. It was so bulky.
Yeah.
It made this room just look full of furniture.
Yeah.
So we're trying out something new, trying it out with our just normal stream setup. I like it because you can see the stuff on the background.
I was about to say, now they can get a true scope of how many figures
how much
you
Star Wars
have,
stuff is in here.
which means you can't just leave them falling over.
I know.
Well,
that's going to be good. I'm going to
nice.
actually have to keep the office clean and organized. So it's a good thing. It's going to have multiple benefits.
She moved. I was going to say,
I know
plus
Birdie
you could
was
see
in here.
Birdie.
They'll be able to come in and stuff in the door behind us. So you
Fender
might
will
be able to see
eventually
him.
mosey in, probably.
Yeah, he'll saunter in, probably lay down, take a good snooze.
And then when you guys adopt my terrible cats from me,
Oh no, I thought they were good boys
No,
lately.
they're bad boys.
Oh, what they do this time?
They're always just everything.
Oh,
They're always being bad.
But yeah, welcome to this new episode, new episode of Team Chat Podcast, where we're here to talk about some video games, the ones we love, the ones we hate, and everything in between. New episodes come out on Thursdays at 9 a.m. Central Time, and you can listen to those on podcast services around the World Wide Web, as well as watch a video version of each episode over on our YouTube channel. Links for all that are in the description below. Find us on social media at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also join our Discord server, where we have a lot of great conversation when we're not here recording the show. And finally, if you'd like to help make the show bigger and better, you can head over to patreon.com/teamchatpodcast, just like Super Saiyan Ace, Elise F, Zach S, Mariah S, Susan M, James K, Michael B, Andrew M, Michael S, and Brandon W have done. They've gone over it where as little as $1 a month, I was going really well. You can support the show and make it bigger and better. And if you can't do that, that's no big deal at all. You can support the show for free by telling your friends, subscribing, and commenting, all that good stuff that just makes the SEO engine go, hey, people like this, and other people will then get to see it. So lots of cool stuff that can help us out like that.
It's incredible to consider. I don't know if people know this. The internet is a popularity contest.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so if you want to,
and right now we're fucking losing,
but not in our own hearts. Oh boy, but I do love the so if you're not a patron, you've been missing out on all of the what word am I looking for here?
Goodies and tidbits, as I
No,
like to call
not
them.
goodies and tidbits. All of the raucous conversations we've been having about The Legend of Dragoon, the best game ever made. Because longtime listener Brandon finally, after 7 years, took
undertaken the task.
our advice and started playing it. And he's gotten really far, and he's got a lot of comments, a lot of thoughts on what's been happening so far. And it's like, yeah, I've been trying to tell you plebes for all this time to play The Legend of Dragoon. So get out there and play it, and then become a patron and get into the Rogues Gallery so you can tell us all about your thoughts and opinions.
That's right.
Even if they're bad.
Our super exclusive club for patrons
I'll only
on
ban
the
you a
Rogues Gallery.
little. Yeah. If you don't like it.
Yeah. Well, that's a great place. You should come check it out over in the Discord. It's a fun time. We'd love to have you there. But we do have a very fun and exciting episode because you may have noticed no episode last week. Whoops-a-doodles. Because I was spending time getting through as much of a certain new released game that's pure joy and wonder, Jedi Survivor, or full name, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. So, while I haven't finished the game quite yet, I am actually 20 hours in, which for the amount of time since when we're recording to when the game actually released is a lot of hours for me for a brand new game.
I mean, when you told me earlier that that's about how far you were in, I was pretty shocked.
Yeah.
You've been tearing ass through games lately.
Have. I went through Ghost of Tsushima in 35 hours.
That's crazy,
I know.
bro.
I mean, there's still a lot of side activity I need to do. There's a lot of the map that still is fogged out. But I tell you what, that game, which I still want to do a review of that one too, coming up soon. But that game was one where I just sometimes with the big open world games, I have a hard time staying focused on the main story, not for like lack of the main story being interesting, but just the world itself is interesting, and I get distracted by that and want to go see each and every little nook and cranny. But this game, the main story gripped me, and I was like, and I also knew I need to finish this before Jedi Survivor comes out, so there was a little bit of the hurry up and finish it there pushing me. But still, though, the story was so damn good. I was just like, I don't want to quit playing this part. I want to see what happens next, and just getting to go through all the different beats of that was so good. But it sets it up really well where like as soon as you finish the main story, if there are side quests and things that you're still wanting to wrap up, you talk to those characters and they're just like, hey, you want to go do that thing that we had to put on the break? So it like immediately like sets up this post game mission that you can do
that feels very natural.
That feels very natural, and kind of made me want to be like, oh, I do want to still go back and finish all these things. Granted, Jedi Survivor came out, so I'm going to have to do that another time, but the interest is still very much there to go back to Ghost.
I will say that's because we were talking about sort of the way that Ghost of Tsushima does side quests, and then that sort of brought up a similar path that Horizon Forbidden West took. But I feel like what you just said is a difference between the two, because when you finish Horizon Forbidden West,
it's kind of like you're done.
Yeah, like the game is over.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it didn't have that natural path to loop back into a game that has so much optional content.
Right.
So I feel like that would have been a nice touch. But
yeah, I mean, it literally like you finish the main mission, and I won't be, I know that game's relatively newish still. Well, I don't know. Is it like 2018, 2019 maybe? Oh, maybe it's older than I thought. But still, I'm not going to talk about it here because it's not the episode for that. But it immediately, as soon as you finish the main mission and you're like wrapping it up and everything, you're talking to another character and they say, well, here's what we have to do still. And like they lay it out, and it's like there's still a lot that we have to go take care of and fix and fight, and it's just like, oh well, let's go. Like the fight is just beginning.
Yeah, I like that.
That's kind of how it sets it up. So it's really good in that way.
But that's not what we're talking about today.
Neither here nor there. Sidetracked on a side quest. But to talk about Ghost, but the real main objective here is Jedi Survivor. And also a fantastic game. And I gotta say too, playing Ghost to Jedi Survivor back to back like that was actually, I think, very beneficial to me for Jedi Survivor, because the combat styles of the two games are very similar. And so like having that like extra practice, I feel like is helping a lot with Jedi Survivor and just being able to move through it at a somewhat quicker pace.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I'm about 20 hours in. The game was developed by Respawn, makers of Apex Legends, Titanfall, a great history of catalog behind this studio. And the game, for those of you who don't know, it continues the story of Cal Kestis, who was first introduced into the Star Wars universe in Jedi Fallen Order. Also back in 2019, I believe, is when that game came out. And so this is in Star Wars timeline. It's before the original trilogy, post prequel trilogy, so in that little in between sweet spot.
Post prequel. Wait,
So in between the prequels and the original trilogy.
I got it. For a second, I had to place it in my mind, because what you said makes total sense. I was just like, wait, prequels?
Yeah, no, I just said that in the most
No, it made perfect sense. I just had to place it on the mental timeline because Star Wars was released in a stupid order.
Yeah, kind of in a weird way. I'm not gonna lie.
But that makes sense.
Speaking of that, side note to the side note. Had the chance to go see Star Wars Return of the Jedi. You actually came with me. It was a great time.
What a bad movie.
Got to see it. Shut up! No, it's fantastic. It's my favorite Star Wars.
It's Jerrett's favorite.
It was amazing to get to see it in theaters for the first time.
I hate the Ewoks so much.
I literally don't understand that.
They are the worst.
I don't understand how you can look at the Ewoks and be like, I
would have been the guy in the little I call them tall boys, whatever the walkers were, not the AT-ATs.
ATSTs.
ATS, sure.
Or chicken walkers.
Oh, okay, chicken walker. I like that. I would have been the guy in the chicken walker just mowing those suckers down.
That's to me, that is one of the saddest scenes of Star Wars is when the ATST blasts the two Ewoks and the one lives and the other dies, and his friend tries to be like, hey, come on, you got to get up, let's go, and he's dead, and his friend's like,
What joy it put on, what a smile to my face.
That part is, I was always like, even as a kid when I first saw it, I was like, oh my God, his friend's dead.
I'm kidding. It was it was an emotional moment, but I just hate them.
You have a stone cold heart.
I loved that movie except for every part that took place on Endor. All of the non-Endor shit, all the space stuff. I was like, hell yes.
Oh,
Even the stuff
the
on
final
Tatooine.
battle in Return of the Jedi is one of the best space battles.
Loved that stuff. I liked all of the Luke and his papa repairing their relationship. I thought that was very impactful. And then seeing Hayden Christensen's ghost at the end when they copy-pasted him in.
I don't agree with that edit at all.
I honestly don't either, but it is very funny.
Or having Darth Vader yell no before he throws Palpatine down the hole.
So okay,
that's not in the original. He doesn't yell no.
Interesting. He goes out like a champ.
Yeah, he's just silent, and he just looks at Luke getting barbecued, and then he looks over at Palpatine, and he just like quickly moves to the side, picks him up, and throws it. Music swells, and it's an incredible moment. But for some reason, George Lucas is like, yeah, add in there saying no as he picks up Palpatine. Yeah.
I mean, I must have seen it in the original before they fixed them.
Right. Because that was recent. They did that.
Yeah.
Maybe around the time when they put
thereabouts.
No, actually, I think maybe that was later. Like when they did I think maybe when they put them on Disney Plus. Oh. Because they also in A New Hope added in Greedo saying McClunky randomly at one point before, like after Han shoots him. He gets shot and he goes like McClunky. I don't know why.
I had another question though about like the things that they did when
this is a Star Wars podcast now, everybody.
Fixed it. When the Sandmanster.
Yes, Sarlacc.
The Sarlacc.
Sarlacc. It's not Scarlett Johansson.
Did they like in the fixed version? Did they make that thing CGI?
The beak. They added that in. That was added in though in like the 97, 98 special editions.
Okay, gotcha. Because I was thinking
it used to be just like the
different.
teeth and just the tentacles.
Okay, gotcha. Well, that was I was trying to figure out obviously some of the things that they added in post
sure.
the super post, if you will.
Yeah,
it's like okay, that's obviously not original to this movie, and that was one of the things that I was like, is it? I can't tell. Like, was that just really early CGI or what?
No, well, I mean, still like
technically
90s
yes,
CGI, yeah, but yeah, but no. We're back to we're going everywhere today. You can tell
much
it's been
like
a few weeks
Luke's
since we've done
travels across the galaxy.
It's been a while since we had our stream a couple weeks ago, but it's been a while since we've actually recorded. The energy is high today.
Which
for a
honestly,
good
one of our more fun streams.
Oh yeah,
Hitman's the best game ever
made. So fun.
Anyway, Star Wars.
But anyway, so Star Wars Jedi Survivor. So you're continuing Cal Kestis' story post the events of Fallen Order, and just in his attempt to remain hidden from the Empire, fight the Empire, and try to recover and restore whatever is left of the Jedi Order that he can.
So do you feel like it would be out of place because I don't remember kind of what major beats the story of the first game ended on. Like, what is Cal's goal? What is he doing?
So
what's motivating him
in the first game?
He
He was hunting down a holocron that can, which is like a data device used by the Jedi. He was tracking down one of those that contained a list of names of all Force-sensitive people in the galaxy. Hadn't been recruited to the Jedis yet, or had. Like everybody.
Gotcha.
So like if the Empire got that and were able to use it, then they would obviously...
They would just wipe them all.
Yeah, they just either hunt them down and make them Sith, Inquisitors, what have you, and all this stuff. And so... You're going to try and find that to keep that from falling into the hands of the Empire. At the end of Fallen Order, spoilers, Cal decides to destroy the holocron rather than keep it and use it to rebuild the Order that way, because he wants it to leave it more to abandon that part of the Jedi Order where it was like, no, we will recruit you as children and raise you in this order.
Oh, yeah.
It's more of like, no, let's let the actual Force that is supposed to control the destiny of everyone in the galaxy, let's let that actually choose who falls into the Order or not.
As someone that has had to do list-based email marketing before, I totally get his approach.
That was kind of how that was going down and where this game left off. So picking up, and I believe it's 3 to 5-ish years after the events of Fallen Order where this game picks up.
Can I ask one more question?
Sure.
So I know that obviously the Empire hates his guts, but because he destroyed the holocron, does the Alliance, what do they call themselves?
No, they don't really know. It was like it's
gotcha.
like the group that was with Cal. They kind of know that this happened.
So it's not like the new Jedi are like pissed at him also,
because they're still like
None of them.
There are more as more Star Wars stories are told, but there's still like a very small handful of Jedi throughout the galaxy at this point.
Cool.
But anyway, so that's where it's kind of at story-wise. I'm not going to focus on that too much for this first impressions because the game is within its first couple weeks of coming out, and people are still playing it for the first time. But I am going to focus a little bit more on like the mechanics and like new things that have been introduced to the game that I'm really vibing with, or exactly. First off, I will start off and just say yes, I'm playing on PS5 and the game is running really, really well. Not gonna. So if I talk about if I'm not talking about the graphical issues that I know are present on PC, that's because I played on PS5. There has already been a patch for PC released as of the time of this recording and for PS5 to kind of improve some things, but I know there's still a little bit more that needs to be done. That being said, and while the PS5 version is not as broken, or is not broken like the PC version, the PS5 version does still have kind of like a little bit of a stutter at times in the 60 frame per second. I haven't really looked in the performance 30 FPS, but in this kind of a game, I need those 60 frames, and I want those 60 frames. So, it's nothing that is where to the point where I'm like, I even notice it that much or that often, or that when it does happen, I'm like, God damn it, that's so annoying that there's this stutter. But it is one of the things that is there, and the most prevalent issue that I've seen in my time playing with it performance-wise. Gotcha. I did have a crash one time also, but that was it. So all that, laying that out right at the beginning, that there were some technical issues that I did run into with it. But other than that, it is like they took the first game, Jedi Fallen Order, and basically just improved on every system that game had. One of the big differences in this one is you did eventually in Fallen Order get a double-bladed lightsaber, and you could do some like special moves where you could like dual wield for like a couple of attacks and everything. Very cool. Very cool. This game now has that I've so far discovered.
Wield.
Like not yet, but there is like 5 that I've discovered so far, different stances. And you see these stances in the trailers, so this isn't really spoilery that I'm talking about this. But this is like one of the core mechanics of like the combat for this game. And for those not familiar with this type of game or anything like that, it is kind of like it's an open world like Soulsborne light, where it is like you hit various, the campfires or meditation areas that will save your progress, but also when you save, it respawns all enemies who you killed behind you.
Oh, I see.
And when you die, you have to find the enemy who you last fought, and you have to damage them to restore life, health, and any like XP that you were holding at the time.
You don't have to kill them. You just
have to damage them, and you can run back away if it's like a big boss.
Can you even like shoot them at long range?
Yeah, you just have to damage them.
Okay, gotcha.
So
can you send out your little robot buddy?
He doesn't really do.
He does him a little kick to the shins.
I don't remember now.
That would be really cute.
BD1 actually was in combat. I don't think he does combat. I think he's just kind of like support. He like gives you health stems and stuff like that.
So he doesn't kick baddies in the shins?
No, but you use him as like to grind along rails. He slices through boxes to get collectibles.
Sounds
he
like
opens
an unplayable
doors.
Game. Because I always imagine BD1,
BD1
as like the progenitor to Zenyatta, and Zenyatta have big kick.
Oh,
so
no,
I
no,
want
no,
BD1 to have
BD1,
little kick.
BD1 rides on your back. He's tiny.
I know he's tiny, but like that's what I want. I want to see a tiny little robot that is all legs and head, just going to ham on somebody's shins.
But yeah, so that's kind of like the style of this game. Like I said, open world, tons of exploration that you get to explore across different planets across the Star Wars universe. And honestly, like the maps of these planets are pretty big. Like I've gone to 3, maybe 4, I think so far, and each one like you could spend hours in discovering all the little nooks and crannies.
Lore-wise, would you say that you're going to places that are known or mentioned in other Star Wars IPs, or are they new?
So far, there's like one new place, but there are some like familiar locations. That
is
are
it
in this game.
Endor? Just tell me.
No,
now.
it's not Endor. Not yet. Who knows?
Oh God!
But I think at that point, even Endor was relatively unknown until Return of the Jedi. So I feel like probably not going to be.
I need, because you know how in Star Wars KOTOR,
yes,
how you could either be like good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
I need to be able to become bad and then be able to go to Endor and mow down the Ewoks to my heart's content.
Then you need to play Battlefront 2, the new Battlefront 2, because there's an Ewok hunt mode. and you're just stormtroopers trying to survive the indoor night. It's actually kind of like horror-esque because it's like it's at night with flashlights, and the Ewoks like jumping out of the woods to fight you and stuff.
That's awesome. That's way better than my idea. I like that more. I do need to play that.
But yeah, so that's kind of like the style of game that it is that you're looking at. I'm trying to get back to my notes that I lost, and now it's gone.
Oh, he's in his folders, everybody. It's looking bad.
Okay, here we go. So anyway, the big change is that there are now, instead of the two like single blade lightsaber and double bladed lightsaber with the occasional dalliance into dual wielding in Fallen Order. Now there are 5 different lightsaber stances. There's still your normal single blade. There's double blade. Now you have dual wield as its own thing. You can just always constantly be dual wielding, which is really cool. Then there's the blaster, which is like single bladed lightsaber and a blaster. So you can kind of get some nice range in there and stuff like that.
I started blasting. Gotcha.
Started blasting.
Yep, okay.
And then there's the cross guard, which I just got, which is like it's like Kylo Ren's. That looks like a medieval sword.
Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of like the stance. And it's like big, heavy, sweeping attacks and stuff like that with really high defense.
But really powerful.
Oh my God, it's so fun though. Because of course you're a Jedi, so like there's a nice flow and movement to all this stuff. So once you get the big, heavy crossguard stance swinging, it feels so good because it can like interrupt heavy, unblockable attacks and stuff like that from enemies.
Shielded
enemies.
It's
so nice. Yes, there are some shielded enemies and stuff. So there might be more stances that I haven't got to yet in the game, but I kind of feel like I don't know, Crossguard I kind of only got to recently. So maybe there might be another one out there that I haven't got to yet, or that they didn't show off in the trailers. But it's really fun because each one, it's kind of like you could play the whole game as one stance or another, but it's nice because each one has, a pros and cons for each situation. Like double-bladed lightsaber, if you're fighting someone single with that, it's not my favorite. Like it's kind of, it almost like has too much just automatic flow to it when you hit like the attack once and Cal does some big crazy spin move with it. It's a little bit harder to like block against a single person. It's great for crowd control. Whereas like dual wielding, you have pretty low defense because you're using 2 single swords, but you're super fast. Crossguard is obviously heavy and slow attacks, but huge defense. Whereas the blaster one is kind of like the all-around balance of having the single-bladed lightsaber, but you get that extra range. Plus, it's really cool to use because you just get to like Cal does like really fancy moves to like throw like hooks it behind his back to like shoot stuff or like over his head, like because he's a force user. He just knows where everybody's at.
Everybody loves that shit. That's awesome.
Loves that. It's really fun to get to use. So I feel like that's a really big change from this. That really just brings a new light to it. And one of the things, too, that I also really like is that you start the game not weaker than how you left the first game.
Good. So they didn't get the Metroid treatment where
you have to like relearn everything.
Explodes and has to
just my computer went to sleep. It's fine.
All the screens went black and I thought that something was wrong.
No. We're good. Nothing is recording to the computer. It's just there for us to look at.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because I totally get it. Like in the Metroid games, you're always like, okay, so Samus is like the most powerful person in the universe, right? Basically.
Right.
And then the next game starts, it's like, well, we got to nerf her because otherwise it doesn't make any sense. I like that that's not happening here.
Because like in the first game, Fallen Order, you had to learn how to like force pull a rope to you, how to double jump, and how to do the standard like platforming moves and stuff like that, and some basic force powers and things. In this game, you don't have to relearn that stuff. You already have it, which is nice. So you're already getting like upgrades. So everything you get is not like, okay, cool, like I have to learn basic and play basic stuff for the first 5 hours of this game until I start getting into the new stuff. The new stuff is immediate. And it feels very natural because it's what you're used to from the old game. So I really like how that set it up for you and everything, just to kind of make it where it immediately you're like, okay, I am a more advanced, trained Jedi than where I left at the first game.
You said that in the timeline it's a few years after
the events? I think it's like 3 to 5.
Okay, 3 to 5 years after the events of the first game.
So that's really great that you get to do that. The other part of it, there is a lot of like just platforming in this, because in an open world exploration, and of course with a game like where you have the powers of the Jedi, that allows for some really great platforming. Big old jumps, like climbing walls and different stuff like that, hanging from pipes and everything, and traversing great open chasms by using nothing but your arm strength.
Did you see that one video that was the it's in Jedi Survivor of when Cal is doing like a little segment of wall-to-wall jumping, wall jumping, and in the lead up to that, some little critters kind of skitter off to the sides. Have you seen that video?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I think
it's
I've
like
done
a
that part
direct
already.
Oh Oh, did you see that it's a direct reference to Metroid?
Oh, really?
Yeah, like there's a section in that game where Samus comes into a small room and there are these little harmless creatures and they kind of see her and they scurry away, and as they do so, one of them does the wall jumping to escape, and that's what kind of triggers you to be like, oh, I can probably do that.
That's cool.
So it's a direct reference to Metroid.
Wow, that's really cool.
Isn't that so fun?
The more you know.
Yeah, the more you know.
That's fun.
I never would have known. I mean, obviously I haven't played Survivor, but even if I had,
but no, I know the
wouldn't
part
have
you're
thought
learning,
it.
because that is how they do it. Because you do get the jumping back and forth to go up like that. But this one's also fun because it does another variation of that where you can, again, because you're a Jedi, do a wall jump without having something to jump off of behind you. You jump away from the wall, hang for a second, then jump forward again to go up high.
That's fun.
It's really cool.
I like that.
So there's a lot of stuff like that in there. So they find out a lot of new ways to even still improve on the traversing and the platforming of the previous game. You get the typical wall run from Respawn games that are so fun.
The Titanfall run.
The Titanfall run, yeah, you get that again. There's a lot of new stuff too. They did take away and change one thing from Fallen Order to Survivor that I really like, which is that when you start climbing on a wall or hang from a ceiling to climb, you in Fallen Order had to hold. Sorry, I'm really tripping over my words. You had to hold L2 to grab onto the wall.
Gotcha.
After you jumped at it, so it was jump at it. L2 to grip it. You don't have to hold L2 anymore. You just grip it.
Which
it was one little extra button push that just didn't feel completely necessary.
I get it.
But was super annoying when you would jump and then die because you didn't hit the button to grab. Which is a common thing that most games you don't really have to do that, I feel like. So that was really good, kind of seeing that as a change. There's also a lot of different stuff too. I feel like this isn't really a big spoiler for anything, but you now have mounts that you can ride to access different areas of the maps.
Chocobos?
Honestly, yes, actually.
Awesome.
Is it Neckos, I believe, are what they're called in the games. They're literally chocobos.
Is it NECCO? Like Necco wafers?
KKO.
Because they couldn't infringe on Necco wafer.
Neku. I think it's Necco.
Necco.
But yeah, do Necco Jedi Survivor.
Darn.
But you're literally going to see this, and you're just it's a chocobo. So.
Oh, Nico.
Nikos.
Oh, no, it is Necco. Okay. Well, Google autocorrect lied to me.
All right. The little chocobos.
They are there. These are just multicolored chocobos. Yeah.
So you get to ride around in mounts and everything, which is really cool because then that even gets you an extra super jump that you can use because you can jump with the mount and then double jump off of that to get up higher.
Nice.
And different stuff like that. You have this really cool grappling hook. Zip line thing to use. And one of the things that I just really love about this game, and in contrast to my playthrough of Ghost of Tsushima, is that I am going all over the place exploring in this one. Granted, again, I don't have the time crunch of trying to beat this before Jedi Survivor comes out, but I am going everywhere and doing everything in this game because it's so easy to. Kind of like how I was saying Ghost of Tsushima encourages you to kind of stay with the main story. This one, it's so easy to take a detour and do a quick little side exploration that you just do them. But it's so great because they're never, except for a few here and there that might lead you to a hidden boss or something like that. They're never that big of a detour, so it never takes that much extra time, even when it's a side quest that you're given or something like that. But each one that you do always gives you some kind of reward, be it a currency that you can use to take to a shop later, a customization item for Cal, or paint colors. You always get something out of it. So this exploration is never wasted. You don't just like find this random area that kind of goes and you're like, oh, this led to nothing. This was a waste of time. You literally always get some kind of reward for for the exploration.
Good level design.
Yeah, it really is. And everything kind of like has a way of looping back to where you started. So there, you never really have to backtrack. Like usually, and it was the same way in Fallen Order too. If you would finish like one of a side area, usually when you got to the end, it would unlock a way to like a shortcut, be it like a wire or rope or that would drop down to be able to get you back so you could easily get back to that area again without having to retraverse the whole place. Also makes it nice for when you die, go back to your last save spot and have to run through everything again. You're not having to fight everybody. You can like bypass some of it to make it a little bit easier to make progress.
We're not streaming obviously, but I can hear Bro Mogan in the chat right now going, unlockable paths that loop you back to where you started and allow you to skip enemies in certain locations. That's a Dark Souls ripoff.
I said, it's a Soulsborne-esque game. It has some very big
The joke, of course, is that Dark Souls did not invent that. We just want to make that clear.
So all the exploration feels really great. The platforming feels really great. There are obviously some environmental puzzles that you have to solve, which I know if you were watching our Uncharted stream the other day, when I got stuck on such a simple puzzle, really.
The suits of armor.
But like I still just had to stare at it, and that was just not clicking in my head. Fortunately, that has not happened in this game. I'm able to like get the puzzles pretty easily, but it's still enough where like I sometimes have to be like, oh, okay, what am I doing here?
We'll just chalk it up to Cal Kestis being smarter than Nathan Drake.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. So there's a lot of good environmental puzzles thrown in there throughout all the different platforming. So again, just not... You are never at a loss of things to do. The world feels very alive. It's a good balance of you're not running into too many enemies as you explore. I mean, obviously you cross their paths because it's repeatable enemies in repeatable places, but it's kind of like you still have a nice flow of I'm going to explore here. I'm going to have to fight here. Yeah. It's never just like, oh my God, leave me alone so I can actually like progress.
That is something
really well
that
balanced.
Kills me. Like when I'm just in that exploration mode and mood, I'm like, I don't want to deal with this right now. And that can be a real bummer to struggle through. Yeah.
They also added in a little mechanic of being able to like, you have an ally at certain points in the story missions that you can like command
BD1.
with you. Well, BD1 you can command all the time to like either give you health stims, unlock boxes that contain collectibles, doors, what have you. But you sometimes will have a companion who's like traveling with you through a level, a la God of War, with like Kratos or with like Atreus and stuff like that. And you can command them to like engage with enemies. You can actually now in this one use force abilities to confuse your enemies and make them fight for you for a little bits of time.
Fun.
And like you can do that with either with like animals and like people that you have to come across and fight too. So that's a new added extra thing in it. So it's just a lot of things like that really are just taking these core principles that were laid out and developed so well in Jedi Fallen Order and just building upon all of them. You know, you do, again, like I said, I don't want to really touch on the story and the characters and that much, the story of it, but it is just like it still holds that same like high quality. Like the story so far has been fantastic. Yeah. And even though I am like going all over the place and doing all the side exploring, I'm still very keyed in to being like, this is what I'm doing. Here's what I'm going for. And I also like a lot of, for the overall lore of Star Wars, I also really like the references that it's dropping and the different like areas of Star Wars that it's kind of touching on, and which is really cool just because it's some of the newer stuff, less explored timelines and everything that they're setting up. Cool. So
is my number one waifu for Lifu Mon Mothma referenced?
Not yet.
0 out of 10.
It might be too early. This might be no, it's got to be getting close to like Andor timeline.
Yeah, probably.
If not right alongside, because Saw Gerrera is mentioned. Well, Saw Gerrera is in the first one. So Forrest Whitaker.
Definitely, yes. Yeah,
I'll get you there.
Knew who that was.
So yeah, lots of good stuff there to go through. You have an upgradable like main base mechanic stuff.
Everybody
like your main
loves
hub.
Upgrading the main hub. Yeah. That's fun.
You even have a rooftop garden that you can find seeds.
Wait, so you're telling me that this game ripped off Hades?
Yeah, so yes, it did.
It's just a various rip-off of other games.
That's one of the collectibles you can find is some seeds.
Oh, that's cute.
In the first game, it was only like a small garden in your ship. This one, like you have a full like on rooftop bar.
Man, I can't
garden.
wait for the Jedi Survivor spin-off, Jedi Gardener.
Oh man, it's
gonna be so fun. It's just a life sim, but in the Star Wars. Like he's retired. It's like 80 years in the future, and he's just an awesome old Jedi gardener.
Yep.
That'd be so fun.
That would be really
I've got
fun.
ideas. People that make Jedi Survivor.
Respawn.
Yeah, call me.
Let's see. One of the other things, like I did say, you can also, in this upgradable base, other than having like the garden rooftop, there are people that you can find among the planet that you can recruit to come and like open up shop there or like offer some things. Yeah. Which is another thing that's kind of new is that there are shops and vendors. There are different currency types that you can collect throughout your exploration that you can use for specific vendors who will give you different things. One of the things that's nice in this game is it does introduce a perk system. So like one of the vendors will sell you like different perk slots or different perks as you progress through the game. Others are different customization outfits for Cal, hairstyles, facial styles, facial hairstyles, things like that. And it all just kind of varies and it depends. One that I just found, it offers like actually information on bounty hunters who are chasing you down. and that you have to like fight against. It's like different mini bosses who you'll just kind of like stumble upon in the world.
Do they tell you like where they are?
Yeah, they give you like an idea
of
it, which is actually very similar to the Nemesis system of Shadow of Mordor.
Huh. Okay.
So it's pretty cool.
Cool. Very nice.
So a lot of really cool new stuff to do it. That is one of the things that is really cool about it too, is that there is so much customization that you can do in this game.
Nice. Is Glitterbeard one of the options?
Not yet. I haven't found Glitterbeard, but there is like full like biker, like long
biker stash.
With a mullet hairstyle. You can do
God.
that. So there's like tons of different hairstyles and facial hair combos that you can get. You can get a different shirt, jacket, pants for Cal that you can change out and everything.
Booty shorts?
Not yet. Man, that'd be cool though.
Yeah,
but
sounds like this game sucks.
you can also customize BD1's appearance, and he has like 5 different things you can change on him. So 5 different like sets of things to collect. Your lightsaber has like 5 parts that you can collect to like customize and change out its hilt and everything. And then your blaster also has 3 parts that you can customize and change. And not only can you like change the different instruments and things that they're on that, but you can change the weathering, the detail, is it, looking like really shitty and roughed up, or is it fine and pristine? You can like go through it, change the materials. So like tons and tons and tons of customization.
Can you have a wooden lightsaber?
Yes, actually.
Awesome. Is the beam itself made of wood?
So.
Is it just like a bunch of splinters?
I think you can, because
together?
I think because I know there is a wood material for the blaster, so I'm pretty sure there is one for the hilt of this lightsaber as well.
Cool.
So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Awesome.
And it's just like, again, so much more. In the first game, you could do like a skin for your ship. You could do some outfit changes for Cal, but you couldn't change his hair. And in Fallen Order, he pretty much wore ponchos a lot. Is like his main outfit. So it was like basically you just got a whole bunch of different ponchos.
Sweet.
And then BD1 you could change his colors too, but pretty much just like his colors. So there's so much more that you can do in this game in terms of like customization of your character.
That's
really
awesome.
make him look.
I love that kind of stuff. Like especially cosmetic customization. 10 out of 10.
And it's nice because it's all stuff that you buy. Well, if you pre-order, there were some, I think, a pre-order bonus of getting some stuff, and I got like the
limited edition
digital, digital deluxe edition or whatever that came with like Obi-Wan's outfit from the Obi-Wan show, his like Wanderer outfit, and like Han's like smuggler outfit and stuff too.
Nice,
very cool. But after seeing, I saw it. I cannot remember now who it was on Twitter, but they shared. I just made Cal Katarn, who is the hero of Dark Forces, the old Star Wars game that I love. They're like, I just made his outfit in Jedi Survivor. Cool. And I saw it, I was like, holy shit. So I just did it.
Nice.
with Cal. And in my game too, because I was like, hell yes, I have to do that. So it's just so fun. There's so many things about it. I think that's really pretty much the majority of what I have to say about it. It is hitting like all the right notes for me. And it's, like I said, I've played 20 hours already. I did kind of hit last night. I played it for a little bit more, and then I did kind of be like, okay, I think I need a break from this. I've played it a lot in the last few days, but still, it's one that like I know I've said this a lot about these games lately, but like it's for sure going to be the platinum. Like I'm going to get, like, I want to do it with this one. I got close enough with Fallen Order that I think I could go back to my save file there and do it. It wouldn't take too long, but this one, like I want to go through the whole experience and do the whole thing all at once.
Is this a game that has difficulty levels?
It does.
Okay.
Thank you. That was the last point actually I wanted to touch on. It does have difficulty levels. It has like, I don't remember their names but the typical easy, normal, hard, extra hard. I know that the hard in this one is Jedi Master. It's probably like Padawan, Knight, Master, and then Grandmaster, which is the hardest one. I started out playing on Master, and then again, I think because I'd had so much practice recently with Ghost, I was actually doing really well, and I was kind of like, I feel like this is a little easy. So I bumped that up to Grandmaster. And I've been playing on Grandmaster for the majority of the time I've been playing the game now. And man, it's good. It's like, it's just enough where it's like, I am still doing really well. And I'm proud of myself for that. And I'm patting myself on the back. But it does still offer just enough of a challenge that even minor enemies will trip me up sometimes.
Yeah.
But since I've been doing so well with it, though, I proposed this to you last night when we were playing games, playing some Mario Kart. But I was like, does this mean I feel like I could take on an Elden Ring run now?
I think you could.
I think I could do it.
I mean, if you like,
An actual like Souls game. I think I could do
I
it
don't
now.
even think the criteria for that is being good at Jedi Survivor. You fucking finished Blasphemous, which I would argue is more difficult than most Souls games.
That game was fucking hard.
So I think that you, like, mechanically speaking, have the chops.
I just think it's gonna smack me in the face a whole lot, and it was gonna make me feel dumb. Now I feel like I've actually like trained my dumb gamer brain to quit going / only smash button to actually like no parry riposte.
Yeah.
I'm actually ready for the challenge now. I've refined my mind by playing the games like Fallen
That's
Order,
probably true.
Ghost. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for the challenge. So I think
so.
after this, I honestly might try that out. Maybe not immediately. But
I know everybody has recommended Elden Ring to you. My personal vote is for Bloodborne.
You think so?
Mostly just because I
have that one already too, so that's a little bit easier barrier to entry.
Personal preference, I like the world of Bloodborne more. I think it like visually speaking, and actually lore-wise, I think that the world of Bloodborne was just more up my alley. Not to say that Elden Ring is bad or that it's not interesting. It's just like kind of in a separate vein of that genre. Whereas Bloodborne, I'm like, look at everybody's sick, cool trench coats and all their awesome hats.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's a little bit more edgy, I almost want to say, which just makes it cooler.
It looks way more Victorian.
Yeah, it's more vampire, which I like. Yeah. Everybody likes vampire aesthetic, right?
Yeah.
I want to look like Count Chocula. Not Count Dracula. Count Chocula.
Speaking of Count Dracula, I want to go see that Renfield. I want to see that Renfield movie soon.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's already out like streaming places, so maybe it won't be too long before it's free for streaming. But no, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I will do a full final review where I will talk about story stuff, how I feel the story compares to the first game, and everything like that. Once I do finally wrap it up, and don't worry, I won't wait for the full platinum. Once I finish the story, we'll do that full review. But no, for the aside from the performance issues that have been plaguing it on PC and the some that are on PS5, the game itself is fantastic. It's a great gameplay. The combat itself is so smooth and fun once you get into a good groove, even at the higher difficulty levels. If you're a Star Wars fan, it's 100% something you're going to enjoy. Even if you're not, like I know you've talked about,
I'm pretty interested.
Yeah.
I was already vaguely interested in Fallen Order, but this one, if it's just better, like why not just start with
it's kind of like what you did with Forbidden West.
Yeah,
you got the better version of Zero Dawn.
Skipping the first games and only play sequels. Once Ghost of Tsushima gets a sequel, I'll play that game.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna wait for only sequals.
I do want to go back to Ghost because I didn't have a chance to try out the multiplayer Legends mode yet.
Oh yeah.
And I started off with it, or I bought the director's cut version of it that came with the Iki Island expansion and stuff. Yeah. And so I need to do all that stuff too. So I got a lot more Ghost ahead of me, and I have a whole hell of a lot more Jedi Survivor because I did see, I think it's like, it was saying 35-ish, 40 hours for like straight run campaign timeline, I think, to finish it. But if your completion is closer to 60, and I know, especially because I'm playing it on Grandmaster, I'm going to get held up on bosses every once in a while and stuff like that. I have a feeling it's going to be probably closer to like a 70, 80 hour for me.
I feel like for, completionist games, that seems like the right amount.
Yeah.
And I'm the
once
kind
you're
of
starting to
person
cross the 100 hour line, like that, I know, like hats off to you if that's your kind of game and you get off on that kind of thing. But it's just, for me, it's too long to commit to that.
Yeah,
but,
I understand.
Which is why, like Valhalla, I wanted to platinum that game.
Me at 91 hours on Octopath Traveler 2.
Again, if that, like, I can't stay in one for that long.
Yeah, and it's not
you know what? I take that back. I want to say like Forbidden West, or Zero Dawn. One of them I just did like.
I think you were really close to.
No,
me.
it was. I don't know. I'll have to go back and look because I feel like it was Valhalla maybe that I was close to 100 hours.
Oh, yeah, that
Valhalla
sounds right.
It was. See, and I'm still nowhere near platinuming that game.
Oh, God.
So I was kind of like, dear God,
That's ridiculous.
I can't go on.
Yeah, no, that's a bit much.
But no, if you love it, if any of this sounds like it's up your alley, then give Jedi Survivor a try. It's a fantastic game.
Not on PC.
Yeah, wait a little bit on PC. Go PlayStation for it first, or Xbox, I guess. And
so it is available for both.
Yes, sorry, I never said that, but yeah, it's available for both and on PC as well. So go check it out. It's a fun time. And if you do, let us know. Send us an email at teamchatpodcast@gmail.com or join over on our Discord server. We can talk about it there. Comment below wherever you're listening to or watching the video. Like I said, we'd love to hear from you and hear your thoughts on this great game as well.
I bet the team over at Respawn is secretly so happy that Redfall is kind of tanking.
So,
I feel like
that
it was their...
Okay, you know what? That actually... Sorry,
I
go
mean,
ahead.
just release-wise, I feel like that was their most direct competition. And
Yeah.
now it's like they're probably going, we're not going to get Horizon Forbidden Wested by Elden Ring.
See, but that's the thing, though, that is... I meant to talk about that. I forgot to bring this up earlier, so I'm glad you said that. About the state of the game of how it was released is, the problems that it was having on PC were very bad. Like, you know...
I mean, like, legit broken.
Legit bad, broken stuff. And an interesting thing, you know, usually whenever this kind of thing happens, everyone's always quick to be like, hey, now, like, it's the higher ups, execs, like, saying, like, we got to get it out the window. And it was interesting that with this case, it was not that. The director of Survivor, Stig Asmussen, who is actually, like, he did some of the old God of War stuff, like a very experienced game director, chose to say no to the extra delay because he was looking at the release window of other games like Redfall and the other one that's coming out soon. Oh, Tears of the Kingdom. And he was like, no, that's a good slot for our game to fall. But it's like,
bro,
so sure, like you kind of like lucked out in that sense that Redfall, which is terrible that Redfall's having is such even worse issues.
Yeah, God.
You know, because no one wants to see a game have
especially
be received
not
like
from
this.
Arcane.
I know, and so it's just like it's interesting where it's like this could have like a clear case where it feels like this could have been avoided, and you were the person to say no. Let's take the extra time, and you didn't. And then you said it out loud.
You could have just pretended.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah, it was those execs. Woo! But
it's like weird flex to admit that it's kind of your fault, but I guess like...
And I mean, sure, there may be more into it than that, and you know, in more details, which I'm sure there are. Again, we're not game developers. We don't know what goes into that, and I have nowhere near the experience that Stig Asmussen does.
And who knows, maybe the extra
games.
time wouldn't have helped.
Exactly. So, you know, there's a lot to it, but it still was just kind of like, that was not what I was expecting out
real
of this.
head scratcher.
Yeah, a little bit. But anyway, the game, notwithstanding some of its technical issues, if you can play it, is great. So go check it out. Would love to hear your thoughts on it. But until next time, everybody, I'm one of your hosts, Jerrett Wilson, joined to my right by Rachel Mogan.
Adios.
We'll see you all next time.